The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hi, my dear snappy children. Welcome back. How are you all? Hope everyone is happy and healthy at home. So, let's begin our today's session with a meaningful quote. What goes around comes around. I repeat, what goes around comes around. That means you get what you give. And if you do good things, the good things will follow you. Got it, children? So keep your surroundings positive and stay healthy. So, my dear children, say good words, think good thoughts, and do good deeds. Got it? Yes. So, today we are going to learn a poem, Solitude, written by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. The poem Solitude is about the relationship between an individual and the outside world. The poem consists of 3 stanzas and each stanza consists of 8 lines. That's called octave. So in this poem, the poet shows the contrast between the positive and negative experiences in human nature. For example, happiness is noticed and celebrated, whereas sad or grief is largely ignored by others. So, the poem suggests that we should understand that happiness and sorrow are a part of human life. Right, children? Yes. So, let's go through the poem, Solitude. The poem written by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Ella Wheeler Wilcox was an American author and poet. Her best known work is Poems of Passion. Her most enduring work is Solitude, which contains some oft-quoted lines. Her autobiography, The World and I, was published in 1918, a year before her death. So, children, don't you wish to have someone beside you when you are in sad or distress? And do you readily help others when they are in need? Is it? Yes. Shall we move to the poem? Solitude. Solitude means a state of being alone. So I am going to read the poem. Listen to it. Laugh and the world laughs with you. Weep and you weep alone. For the sad old earth must borrow its mirth, but has trouble enough of its own. Sing and the hills will answer. Sigh, it is lost on the air. And the echoes bound to a joyful sound, but shrink from voicing care. Rejoice, and men will seek you. Grieve, and they turn and go. They want full measure of all your pleasure, but they do not need your woe. Be glad, and your friends are many. Be sad, and you lose them all. There are none to decline your nectared wine, but alone you must drink your life's gall. Feast, and your halls are crowded. Fast, and the world goes by. Succeed and give, and it helps you live, but no man can help you die. There is room in the halls of pleasure for a long and loudly train, but one by one we must all file on through the narrow aisle of pain. So, the first answer, laugh and the world laughs with you. Weep and you weep alone. So, the poet introduces the theme of the poem, solitude, which means being alone. Laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone. So, in the present world, people are interested in sharing their happiness and joy with others, but sorrows to be faced by all alone. When you are happy, the people will surround you, but when you are sad or distressed, you have to face it alone. For the sad old earth must borrow its mirth. Mirth means happiness, but has trouble enough of its own. The sad old earth doesn't have much happiness. It has to borrow a happiness from someone. Borrow means to take. Kadam vaanguga. Why? Because because the people are not sharing their sorrows to others. It shows the negative experience. So the earth cannot reduce the human's sadness because it has trouble enough of its own. Sing and the hills will answer. Sigh, it is lost on the air. If you sing to the hills, they will echo to your sound in joy. Sigh, it is lost on the air. If you are in distress, it will not share the sadness. The echoes bound a joyful sound, but shrinks from voicing care. So the poet describes that if you share a happiness, it will increase, but no one will be there to share your sorrow. Moving to the next stanza. Rejoice and men will seek you. Grieve and they'll turn and go. People wish to be around you when, yes, if you are happy and they wants to spend time with you. Grieve and they turn and go. But if you grieve, they will leave you. They want full measure of all your pleasure, but they do not need your woe. Woe means sorrow. So the people want you, not your sorrow. Be glad, and your friends are many. Be sad, you lose them all. So be happy, you have friends. Be sad, you lose them all. So here the poet advises that if you want to have friends, you need to be glad. If not, you are going to lose them all. There are none to decline your nectared wine. Nectared wine here, happiness. But alone you must drink your life's gall. Gall means sorrow. So again the poet explains that there are many to share our happiness, but we have to face alone our sorrows. Next stanza. Feast and your halls are crowded, fast and the world goes by. If you arrange for a feast, all will be crowded. Feast means virunna, but here it shows happiness. Fast and the world goes by. If you fast, the hall will be empty. If you are in sorrow, no one will be with you. Succeed and give, and it helps you live, but no man can help you die. So, death is an inevitable thing. No one can stop that. It's a solitude act. No one is going to come along with you when you die. There is rooms in the halls of pleasure for a long and lovely train. So, if we share our happiness, it will multiply. But one by one, we must all file on through the narrow aisle of pain. AISLE. How to pronounce the word? Yes, aisle. One day or other, one by one will move to the end of our life, death. So everyone must experience life's hardship, including death in solitude. So the theme of the poem is simple. If you laugh, sing, feast, or rejoice, the world will be drawn to you. But if you sad, grieve, weep, or fast, the world will abandon you. So no one should have to go through anything by themselves. They should always surrounded by people that love them. Sometimes you had to be the surrounder to make people feel better. So my dear children, think positive and keep your surroundings positive. So be happy and make others happy. Got it, children? Yes. So I hope you understood the poem. Today's homework is write the summary of the poem. Got it? Yes. So that's all for today. We will meet in the next class. Until then, it's bye from your in the teacher. Thank you.